Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are all fine and safe at home. This is Karthikeyan, economics teacher from Balarastan Matriculation Higher Secondary School. Today we are going to see an interesting topic, microeconomics. As we know that the topic economics is a part of social science, history, geography, civics, economics. And here the economics means the study of money and management. In this topic, what is micro means, what is economics means, let me explain you the topic first. First of all, micro, the word micro means a part. The word micro means a part, and economics means the study of money and management. The study of money and management is called as economics. And here the word, the ancient Greek word oikonomikos, the word ancient Greek word oikonomikos, which means oikos means household and nomos means management, and the complete meaning of the economics is management of household. The total management of household, which means which deals about the money, management, etc. And then the four definitions which was given by the four important economists, namely Smith from Scottish, is a Scotland economist, and Marshall is from Britain, and then Robbins is also from Britain, and finally Samuelson is from America. So these are the four important economists who gave a definition for economics in stage by stage. First one, Smith from Scotland, and Marshall from Britain, Robinson from Britain, and Samuelson from America. So these four economists are responsible for the development of economics stage by stage. And the definition which was given by Smith was wealth definition. He mentioned economics as a wealth, and Marshall mentioned economics as a welfare. What is welfare means, we will see in the next topic. And Robbins mentioned scarcity definition. Economics is nothing but scarcity. And finally Samuelson mentioned economics as a growth definition. So these are the four definitions which was given by the four important economics, and stage by stage they are developed. And during the period of Smith it was called as classical era. The period of Smith was called as classical era, and the period of Marshall was called as neoclassical era, and the period of Robbins was called as new age, and finally Samuelson, the period of Samuelson was called as modern age. I repeat, see, Smith, Marshall, Robbins, and then Samuelson. These four economists are responsible for the development of economic stage by stage, and four different definitions was given by these four economists, and these four economists from different countries. Smith was from Scotland, and Marshall was from Britain, and Robinson was from Britain, and finally Samuelson also he was from America. The four definition which was given by these four economists, and during the period of this Smith, Marshall, Robin and Samuelson are called as era, and classical era, neoclassic, new age and modern age. And the picture shown in this, it was the Adam Smith, 1723 to 1729, and in his definition what he actually mentioned means, he mentioned about wealth definition. He mentioned economics as a wealth definition. Let us see. In his book, he wrote a book namely An Enquiry into Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nation during the period of 1776. And in his book, he mentioned economics was wealth. Economics is wealth definition, and he explained how a nation wealth is responsible and it created and increased. So a nation wealth is very important for the development of a country, and how they are developed and how they are increased. And he also introduced the concept called as division of labor. Division of labor is nothing but the work was separated partly. Work was done by the member of people, and that was called as division of labor. Division of work. The work was separated according to the work, and it is very helpful. The division of labor, the concept of division of labor was helpful for the development of the quantum of output. The total production was depend on the division of labor. This concept, particularly division of labor, which was very helpful for the increase of quantum of output. Hence, he was familiar for the wealth definition, and the division of labor, which was introduced by Smith, was very familiar in those days. And next topic. Alfred Marshall, and he was from 1842 to 1924. He was the person, Alfred Marshall was a British economist. Was a British economist, and in his definition he mentioned welfare definition. He mentioned economics as a welfare definition. Let's see what is the welfare means, and he wrote a book called as Principle of Economics. The Principle of Economics, he mentioned that economics is a study of mankind, that's particularly the mankind in the ordinary business of life. As we know that welfare is the good things, the goodwill, that all comes under welfare. He mentioned economics is nothing but welfare, principle of economics. In the book he mentioned, and one side it is a study of wealth as well as, and other side it is a part of study of man. That is very important thing. It's a study of economics. Economics is the study of wealth as well as study of man. Here what he mentioned, study of man, means the character, behavior, these are called as study of man. And it is also mentioned, he is also mentioned that economics is the study of people in the society who influence one another. Yes, we know that in a society each and everyone depends on others. We influence others. So without influence of others we can't live in the society. That is what he mentioned in his book, in the Principle of Economics. He mentioned it is a study of mankind. It is a study of people in the society who influence on each other. That is what he mentioned. And next one, Lionel Robbins. He was also British economist. Lionel Robinson is also called as British economist. He was from 1866 to 1922. And he explained in his definition economics as a scarcity. He mentioned definition of economics as a scarcity, and he wrote a book called as an essay on the nature and significance of economic science. And in his book he mentioned it is the study of science, study of human behavior and relationship, that is the important thing, relationship between end and scarce. End and scarce. Human being, there was many needs of human beings. All the needs are satisfied by the raw material. The thing is, the scarcity means the relationship between raw material and needs, and simply he said n and scarce. There is no n for the need of human being. It cannot be satisfied simply by the resources. More wants, more needs are expected from the human being, and here economics is the science of choice. Yes, he mentioned the particular thing. Economics is a science of choice. We have a choice, this or that. Likewise, he mentioned economics is a choice between n and scarce. What kind of a need we need to fulfill? The urgent need. Urgent need is very important to satisfy, and that is what he mentioned in his book. And next part, Samuelson. American economist. The duration was 1915 to 2009. And he mentioned economics as the growth definition, development of a country. Development in all aspects, the development of development in all aspects is called as growth. And he mentioned particularly Samuelson mentioned economics is the growth definition, and he wrote a book called as an introductory analysis. In his book he defined economics as the study of how men and society are dependent to each other and choose with or without the use of money to produce commodities. Commodities is nothing but goods. And how to distribute them for the consumption. Consumption means usage for future. The part is what he mentioned, try to mention is with or without the use of money to produce commodities, goods, and distribute the goods to consumption. So these three are the important part: commodities, production of commodities, and next one is distribute them to the consumers, and consume, usage of the goods for the future. This is the definition which was mentioned by the Samuelson, and his definition covers various aspects like production, distribution, consumption. So as I mentioned, these three are the very important for the growth of a nation. Production, distribution, consumption. And he treat economics as social science. Everybody in the society, yes, everybody in the society who involved in the economics, the development of the country, which depends upon the every particular person, every citizen of a nation, that is very important, and that's what he mentioned, everybody in the society involved in the economics. The next one, economics, its subject matter. Economics, how they are dependent on each other, that is what we are going to see in this topic. Economics, human wants. Every human being needs some wants, and how the wants become the effort. the human wants. Every person need wants, and how the effort wants become effort, and how the efforts become production, and how the production become distribution and exchange, and finally how the exchange become consumption. Each and every person have some want, and how the want induce him to create a goods. The work he put, that is called effort, and the effort made the production, and the production will distribute and exchange, and that if it is exchanged and distributed means it will become consumption, usage by the consumers, and more consumption create more wants, and that's how economics and its subject matter are related to each other. Yes, and next topic here, economics is an art or science. That is what they mention. Most of the economists argued that economics is art, and most of the economists, some part of the economists who mentioned economics is a science, but most of the economists mention economics is a art and science. Why they mention economics is art and science? Why? Because art means, which means practical application of knowledge, and here science means systematic study of knowledge. Systematic study of knowledge means gradually we continually we get the gaining the knowledge, and here practical application, life oriented, and that's why most of the economics accepted economics is a art as well as science. And next one is goods and services. Goods is nothing but the product. For example, chalk piece, take a chalk piece. The raw material of the chalk piece is just a chalk powder. We can't use directly the chalk powder. When it is become a chalk or usable goods, it will be usable, and that's what we said. Goods or products are common commodities and things, etc. And the characteristics of commodities are they are tangible, visible, we can see, and they have physical dimension, they have a particular shape to see, and transferable, it can transferable from one place to another place, and owned by someone. Yes, we can buy the product by using the money. And here service is the effort put to make goods, the work which was done for making a goods, it is called, the work is called as service, and they are intangible, we can't see the work, we can't see the service, what service are put in there. And next one, inseparable from the makers, it cannot be separate, and perishable, it cannot store for a long term, and that is called as perishable. And these are the characteristics of goods as well as services. The next topic here is kinds of goods. The goods are nothing but the conversion of raw material into a finished or usable goods, they are called as goods. And here what are the kinds of goods means, first one, free and economic goods. The free goods are nothing but freely available from the nature, they all comes under free goods. For example, sun, air, they are free goods. Why? Because they don't have any money value. But here economic goods, it possesses money value. The goods which contains money value, they are all called as economic goods. The goods we don't have any money value, they are called as free goods. The example, sun and air. For economic goods, all the things we bought for money, they all comes under economic goods. And next one, consumer goods and capital goods. The goods which directly satisfy the human wants, they are called as consumer goods. For example, television or any eatable goods, they all comes under consumer goods, directly fulfill the basic needs of human being. And here the capital goods, it doesn't directly satisfy the human wants, they all comes under capital goods. The huge machineries in the industries, they all comes under capital goods. And next one, perishable and perishable goods. Here the perishable goods, it cannot store for a long term, these kind of goods are called as perishable goods, and these are the kinds of goods. In this video, in the description box, I have attached study material, question bank, self assessment. and you please kindly go through that. Thank you.